welcome! Today we will see one of the greatest Magnus Carlsen games that has been played at 2003 on Greece. Hammer adds 2074 of rating, and Magnus Carlsen wasn't yet grandmaster, but at 2450 of rating. So Emmer was 13 years old and Carlsen was just 12 years old. Both players are Norwegian, so it's always interesting because they have played at Greece and they are friends too. But in the end of this video, we will talk a little bit about that and about the standings too. So here, White has played the Hati and Black has done an invitation for the Pirk. So this continued with d4, knight f6, and after knight d2. Okay, this is playable, but for me probably it's easier to play just, for example, knight c3. What is the difference? The difference is the bishop. If you play knight d2, you're blocking the bishop. If you play knight c3, is more dynamic. So this continued with the move g6, normal, and after e4, it's the idea when you play knight d2 to play e4. For example, with knight c3, it's possible to play e4. The black player will play bishop g7, and after bishop d3, castle, castle, and we have a normal game. This is playable for both sides, and here Magnus Carlsen will find an interesting idea. Nowadays, in this position, knight c6, it's the most common idea, and okay, it's possible too to play c5 and knight d7. The idea to play knight c6 is interesting because it remembers the ideas of the King's Indian defense. And normally they are kind of aggressive, and here the plan is to play e5. So Emmer has played c3 to restrict the movimentation of the knight, because the pawns cannot let the knight to play on this side of the board. And after e5, the question that Magnus Carlsen is doing is, what will you do to the center? So what will you do with your pawn structure? And here Emmer will play probably the best move, h3. So he doesn't want to let the bishop go to g4. And well, I've put the test, the quote, sorry, below this this video because of, for example, this move. Magnus has told, I think that the most important thing in chess, as in life, is to be able to make choices and not just follow the rules. This is so important because, well, if you want to be good or the great chess player, for example, of all time, you cannot follow the rules. You need to create new rules. And Magnus Carlsen is a good example of that. And in this position, he created the idea knight h5. And okay, probably this isn't the best idea according to the engines, but what is the answer to this move? Well, the question is that I want to ask you, what will you do to the center? So right now, okay, I lateralize my knight, but I'm threatening a pawn because pawn takes, knight takes, and bishop takes. Okay, the idea is a central idea. If you close the position, I will play knight e7, and okay, this position will be a dynamic position, playable for both sides, but okay, Carlsen had a superior rating, so probably Emmer wasn't willing to defend against a stronger player. So the other idea can be just to take, but it isn't pretty, because if pawn takes, we have the continuation that happened on the game. This is an intermediate move. Sorry for my accent. And if you want, you can think a little bit in this position. And while you think, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Tell me everything. What do you want to see here in this channel? So continuing, the intermediate move is knight f4. Beautiful idea. So the idea here is that the knight is threatening to take the bishop. And later we can decide what will we do to the pawn. So here, Ludwig has played bishop b5. And okay, bishop b5 isn't the best idea, but he won't lose the game because of that. What could he do? For example, knight c4. I like this idea because if knight takes bishop, probably would be the move. Queen takes, and okay, knight takes e5, and this game, it's equal in my opinion. So here he played bishop b5, and after knight takes e5, of course, he wants to take with the knight, or else bishop takes knight and will break the pawn structure. We don't want this to happen. And after knight takes, here knight takes, and again we have an intermediate move. So the text, if you're asking why is the name of this game Can't Touch This, well, it's it's an interesting game because of the game of Immerse. So you have an old music of MC Hammer. So if you want to hear, you can find out on YouTube. I cannot put here because of copyrights, but that's the reason this game has this name. So here, Magnus Carlsen will find second intermediate on the game. So Queen G5. Queen G5 is very pretty because now I'm threatening to give checkmate on G2. At the same time, this knight is being attacked by 3 pieces, and okay, the bishop isn't protected too. So he has played knight G4, but let's see if he played, for example, G3. Here, Magnus is already better because knight takes h, and after king G2, I can play again knight f4, and after, for example, the repetition, now I can, for example, take with the queen, and okay, I'm better. Oh, but what if knight to f3? Well, knight to h3 again, and I will win later the bishop because I'm giving check. So this were won for Carlsen. So for this reason, knight g4 is probably the best idea for white. Of course, black is already better, not won, but Carlsen needs to show how will he win this game. So here he will find the most normal move is just to take the bishop. Another idea could be h5, of course, because the knight is blocked. And after queen takes, here Emmer will play knight to b3. So this game is already finishing, because after this move, Carlsen will find another pretty idea. So if you want, you can pause the video and think a little bit, because the idea is to try to expose the opponent's king. So to do that, you want to open a file. So the hint is that you want to open the H file. So have you found the idea? The idea is very pretty. Knight e2 check. So the idea is to block the queen. And now I can take with the bishop. So white has played king h1, and after bishop take, pawn takes, here Magnus will follow a principle that everyone, in my opinion, should follow, is to put the rooks on the open files. In this case, you just need to put one rook on e8. That's very strong. Why? Well, because it's impossible to protect this pawn. For example, if you advance f3, okay, I will win equality. For example, if queen goes there, well, this is complicated because knight g3 is a tactical move because the rook is unprotected. After pawn takes, triple pawns, oof, very ugly. And queen takes, this is already won with +2 points for black. If white plays, for example, knight to d2, okay, I can take the bishop and I will win, or pawn, for example, rook takes and I win. And then probably the c3 pawn will follow. Follow? Yeah, we will fall. So, sorry, fall, not follow. Well, continuing. Here in this position, he will give up the pawn because it isn't possible to protect the pawn, and the game it's already finishing because rook takes, rook to e1 is a big mistake. But well, what could he do? Could he play g3? g3 loses too because knight takes g3, for example, will win material, will break the pawn structure, and black will be winning by 2 points. But well, after rook e1, the black's player Magnus, with just an international master title, will find an unstoppable checkmate in 2 moves. So he will give up his queen. Is a great move because the knight is restricting the movimentation of the king. And after pawn takes, he will give checkmate. So here in this position, Emperor has resigned because it isn't possible to resist to this pattern. So this was an aggressive game by Carlsen. He's known by his level of the endgames. On those days, he raised a lot his elo. And the competition wasn't won by him, but well, he's shown that his level had a lot of potential. So to see the final standings, Zigalko has won the competition. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave has finished on the 2nd place, and on 3rd place Nepomniachtchi. So we had in this competition a lot of very strong players. So Magnus has finished at the 9th position, Gupta is known too, Coleman is known, so a very strong competition. About Emmer finished on the position 61. So, okay, we need to see one thing, because I live at a small place, and normally when we win at small, we live at small places, you're not friends of the other players, and you have bad ambience. So it's important to talk about the friendship of Carlsen and Hammer, because they are friends right nowadays. And what are they doing nowadays? Are they strong? Are they weak? Well, we will see this next, but do you want to know the precision of this game? Carlsen has played quite well, and here the precision of Magnus Carlsen was almost, I'm going to show, it's very high. He played at almost 98%. So it's very good, this game. It's almost perfect. And of course, the best move is Queen H5. So about Emmer, he played at a precision of 74%. About their relationship, they are friends. In my opinion, Magnus Carlsen has made an immortal game, because this game is pretty, and I'm certain that in 20-30 years the person will talk about this game. You need to see the game between Paul Morphy and two opponents at the opera. This game, it's incredible and almost perfect too. So if you want to see, it's right there. And don't forget to show here tomorrow, because tomorrow we will have a new video. So till tomorrow, bye bye.